first glance, it would seem like this is another preemptive move to preserve Speaker Romualdez as Speaker of the House, no? But what makes it distinct and what seems to be an indication that it's a lot more than just the speakership is the fact that the Vice President herself resigned as member of Lakas-CMD. And we all know that while Speaker Romualdez is the president of Lakas-CMD, the Vice President is chairman of Lakas-CMD. And that is why I tend to believe that the speakership is an issue, yes, because there may have been a perceived attempt to oust the speaker from this position on the part of President GMA, former President GMA, which he has clarified is a misunderstanding. No? But at the same time, I think it is also a manifestation on the part of the Vice President that she's not yet ready to engage in partisan politics this early, and hence her reason for resigning from the Lakas-CMD.
So, Attorney, do you think it was just because of her trying to back off from the politics happening, or do you think this was also a show of support for former President Gloria Arroyo?
I think it's both. I think she's saying it's too early to do this kind of politicking because, you know, the reality is President GMA, former President GMA, is such a veteran politico that she knows that it is not the time to challenge Speaker Martin Romualdez for the post of speakership. First, he's a relative. Number two, he's probably the closest advisor to the president right now, no? And number three, he gets things done in the House, no? So I think it would be foolhardy in the first place for PGMA to attempt to oust him, no? But still, this did not prevent the supporters of the speaker or the speaker himself, no, from demoting PGMA, possibly to send the message that she should not even consider such a coup, no? But I think the reaction of the Vice President was unexpected. The Vice President, and rightfully, I think, perceived this as politicking this early, which seems to indicate that perhaps there are quarters within Lakas-CMD that would want a higher post for the Speaker and not just the post of Speaker for now.
All right, Attorney Roque, VP Sara, in her statement, and I'm going to quote, she said political toxicity as well as execrable power play or very unpleasant power play as her reasons for exiting Lakas-CMD. What do you think she meant by this?
She meant it's too early to play politics, that we should be focused on governance at this stage because after all, it's only been a year since the unit team was given a mandate by the people. So I think what she's saying is let's focus on delivering what the people expect from us. And 2028, after all, is still 5 years away. But you see, the reality in politics, in Philippine politics in particular, is you need to plan ahead. No? And that's why I think quarters responsible for the demotion of PGMA are thinking of 5 years ahead of time, no? Which the VP says is really too early. And I tend to agree with that.
How does this play off, Attorney Roque? I mean, looking at the events in the recent weeks, we have been talking about, you know, the cabinet reorganization of President Marcos, given that the one-year ban after the elections is already over. A lot of the names that have been cropping up, a lot are actually, of course, allied to or at some point in time related to the former President Arroyo. And then this. How does this all tie in together? Are these all interrelated?
Well, I think they are not interrelated, no? For instance, although this is politicking within Lakas-CMD, which is the biggest political party in the House, take note that the president is not a member of Lakas-CMD. He's a member of Partido Federal de Pilipinas, no? And that is why the president can rightfully rise above the fray, so to speak, no? On the other hand, VP Sara cannot claim to rise beyond the fray because she is chairman of Lakas-CMD. So her statement is a clear repudiation of the politicking that is happening too early in Lakas-CMD. And I hope the leaders of Lakas-CMD will take heed, no? Because I think as the public servant with the highest approval and trust rating, the vice president is a very good barometer of the people's mood, no? And I think what she's saying is that people will not accept this kind of politicking when they're expecting performance from the leaders.
Well, attorney, sabi nga po nila, no, if there's fire, there's smoke, ano po sa tingin niyo pinanggagalingan po nitong, you know, yung pag-misconstrue ng actions ng former president as coup plotting?
Well, you know, I don't think it's a misconstruction. I don't think they were misconstrued. I think that congressmen know that it's foolhardy for the former president to attempt a coup at this point. I think they're more interested in ensuring that they will build the party in time for 2028. And that's why they had to send a message that no one should stray from the path. No? I mean, I can't imagine any congressman believing that at this point, and given the proximity of the speaker to the president, that GMA could actually succeed in ousting him. No? So it must be because they're really preparing for 2028 that they want to remove all roadblocks to what they consider as the ultimate goal in 2028, which is the presidency.
Very quickly, Attorney, do you have a fearless forecast on what could happen sa SONA po?
Well, the president eventually will have to address this politicking within the House of Representatives because although he's not a part of Lakas-CMD, everyone is part of a coalition supporting his administration. And I think on his second SONA, he has to tell his supporters that we have to be focused on governance now because we haven't even reached midterms election. No? And he should now be more specific as to what he wants to achieve and what he wants from Congress. No? So I think this will be a more observed and more listened to SONA because the first SONA was more or less, an opportunity for him to give us the broad strokes of what he wants to do in the 6th year of his administration. This time, people would want the details, and this time, people would want him to instruct his party mates in the House in particular on how much politicking they should be involved in.